after having installed Jupyter notebook for Python, we are going to go, or we are going to start with our first tutorial. So I'm going to launch my Python. So now the first thing I would like to teach you is the usual hello world that is used in most of the programming languages when we are starting a programming course like this. So the print function allow you to print anything you want to print. Okay. So we have print, and then you type in your text, hello world. So on MacBook, once you used shift and return, this should give you the output. Okay. So you have hello world. Okay. So the print function is usually used to display the output. So you could see that we use the print to display this output as hello world. Okay, this particular text. Okay, so the Python print function read the text and then display it to you. So this is the output. Okay, this is the output. So let's try other things again. So using the same print function, print, then make sure that your text are covered with quotes. So for example, let's say welcome to Python for data analytics. Okay, analytics. Then if you repeat the same print function under, we can say this is our first coding lesson. This is our first coding lesson. Okay, what do you think will happen? Once you use your shift and enter, it print both text for you. Okay, this is the output. So you're asking Python to print welcome to Python for data analytics. And you are at the same time asking Python to print for you, this is our first coding lesson. So it will execute the first code first. So that is why you have welcome to Python for data analytics. And after that, it will also print the second statement for you. This is our first coding lesson. You see, so these are the codes and these are the outputs, right? Now, let's try to work with numbers. Okay, let's try to work with numbers. Normally, if you save 10 plus 5 and you use shift and enter, okay, or shift and return, that should give you a 15. But you can as well wrap this in a print function, okay, what is 10 plus 5, and that should also give you 15 as well. So we can do print 10 plus 5, 10 plus 5, okay, just one bracket, okay, 10 plus 5. Let's do the same print. Let's say 10 minus 5. Okay, 10 minus 5. I'm leaving the spaces for readability. Without the space, it will work. Okay. Then I want print 10 times 5. And let me add one more. Print, let's say 10 divided by 5. Okay. So when you use your shift and enter or shift and return, you see this gives you the output one after the other. So the first one, 10 plus 5, we all know is 15. We subtract 5 from 10, we have 5. 10 multiplied by 5, you have 15. And then 10 divided by 5, that gives you 2. Okay. So now let's see something. We have print. Let's say 17. Okay. Is 5. Okay. This this particular function or this particular operator 10 with this particular operator, that sounds like a percentage sign. It's meant to actually gives you the remainder. So if we divide 5 goes into 17, I think 3 times remainder 2. Okay, so this gives you the remainder. Okay, is that what we call modular arithmetic? So we have 17 divided by 5. That is meant to give you the remainder if you use this symbol. Okay, if you use this symbol. Now, if you print, let's say 17, this divided by 5, we call this one floor division. Okay, floor division, and this will give you 3. It will not take the remainder into consideration because it's called floor division. Okay, floor division, division, yeah. So this will give you exactly 3 without taking the remainder into consideration. Now, if you do print, okay, print, let's say 2, print 2 with double asterisk and 3. This is considered as power, okay? 2 raised to the power 3. That is 2 times 2. That is 4 times 2, okay? So 2 raised to the power 3. So this is power. This is power raised to the power. So this gives you, okay, 2 times 2, that gives you 4. 4 times 2, that gives you 8. Okay, so the answers 17 divided by 5, okay, or 17 modulo 5, that will give you 2. Then you have 17 with the 2 division signs, that will give you a floor division of 3. It will not take the remainder into consideration. Then if you have 2 star 3, that means 2 raised to the power 3. So that gives you the 8. So now let's look at variables in Python. Variables in Pythons. So variable, you can see variable, you can look at variable as names that we use to store values. Okay, the names that we use to store values. You can also look at it in form of, or you can look at it as a container where you put something inside. Okay, so let's get an example. If I say age and assigned 25 to age, okay, look at it. And assign 25 to age. That means I'm saying that the age is 25. Okay. And let me add, let's say name. Okay. Is equal to, don't forget that if it is a test, you put it into quotation. Okay. So name is Kingsley. And then let me add just height. Height is equal to 1.7. I think I'm 1.75. Okay. Now, these are, okay, I can just, so this is, you call this variables in Python. All right. So let's run this particular cell. We run the cell. So what we are doing here is that we are assigning these values. Okay. We are assigning these values to these containers. So we are saying that age is 25, the name is Kingsley, and then the height is 1.75. Now, if you print name, okay, if you print name, it's supposed to return to you this particular name because you have assigned this name, you have assigned Kingsley to the name. So when you call the name or when you print the name, it's supposed to return the value for you. So let's try and see. You see, so we print the name, we have this value. So we print name, have this value. Let's print height. What do you expect? this will print the values that is assigned to this particular variable or this particular container for you. So this will return 1.75, right? So 1.75. And lastly, if you print age, you know what you get. This will return 25 for you, okay? So at times you can also combine, you can actually combine them in one program. So for example, we have student name, okay, let's equate it to, let's say, Amma. Then we have, I want student age, student, okay, underscore age. So let me give Amma 22 years. Then student score, okay. Let's say 87.5. 87.5. Let's run it. So I can write print into brackets student name. You know what the student name is, and you should know what will happen by now. And then we have, let's say, print student age, and then we print student score, right? Score. So this is supposed to return all the values assigned to these containers or these variables to you. So you can see student name is Amma. Okay, the age is 22 and the score is 87.5. All right. So when we are naming variable, there are certain rules we are supposed to follow when we are naming variables. Okay. Now, the correct way to name variables is what we've been doing. For example, let me just give it like rules for variable naming. All right. In most of the statistical packages, I think the same rules apply. So the correct way of naming variable, okay? Naming variables. So we have age, okay? You can assign your values to it. Student name, you can't do student space name, okay? Student name, okay? You can give the student's name. Then let's say total sales. So it's, let's say 5,000. And finally, let's do score 1. Score is 80, okay? Right. So these are correct ways for which you can name your variables, okay? Now let's look at the incorrect ways of, let's look at the incorrect ways. Incorrect ways of naming variables. If you try to name a variable with a number, or a number at the beginning of the variable, let's say one age is equal to 20, then something like student name equals to or assigned to, let's say this, let's say class equals to, let's say level 100, okay? First of all, in every statistical package, you are not allowed to use number to start a variable name, okay? So this is wrong. And also, we do not accept hyphens in naming variables, okay? So this is also wrong. Instead of using hyphen, you rather prefer underscore, right? And the word class is a reserved word for Python, so you cannot use it as a variable name. That is why once we type class, you see that it changed color to green. So you cannot do that. You cannot use these reserved words to name variables. Okay. So as I said, as I mentioned, variable name should not start with numbers. Okay. It should not start with a number. And variable name should not contain hyphens, just like student name. And we should also avoid Python keywords like class, print, if, those keywords in naming variables. All right. So that being said, let's move to data types. Okay, data types in Python. So data types in Python. All right. Now, if I type y equals to 10.5, okay, and then I type print, and within print, I ask Python to give me the type of y. Okay, let's get this right. I assign 10.5 to y, meaning y is equal to 10.5. Now, this type function is able to tell you the type of variable y is, okay? The type of variable or the data type that y is. And the print function prints that particular data type for me. Okay, that's what I've done here. So these are two functions together. The print is a function and the type is a function. So let's say I have type, which is a function. What is the type of y? Okay, and I want it to print the type of y for me. So when I run that, it's telling me that this is a float. Okay, in Python, numbers that contains decimals are called float. For example, 1.5, 2.3, okay, 0.4. These are referred to as floats, okay, float variables, okay, just because it contains a decimal after the number, right? Now, so we have float as a variable type, okay, let's write it here so that you don't forget. We have float. In fact, let me write it at the top here. So float variable type, all right? Now, the next one I would want you to also know is what we call string variable, okay? String variable. Okay, what is that? What is a string variable? When I say name is equal to Kingsley, okay? Kingsley. And I print and I ask of the type of name, this will tell you that, okay, the class or the type of variable is str, that is string variable. Generally, tests are considered as string variable. The name, test, name of something, test, those things that you put in quotations, okay, those tests that you put in quotations. Python sees this as a string, okay, a string variable. So we have floats and we have string variable, okay? Now, another one we have to look at is booleans. Boolean, okay? A boolean. This one is also a type of variable in Stata, in Python. So if I say is student, I'm just asking whether the person is a student and I'm assigning it to true. What that means is that truly this person is a student, okay? But because I'm using true, this is considered as a Boolean. And a Boolean is 0 or 1, okay? True or false. So Boolean. Now, if you want to find out okay, or to know the type of variable this is. You know, it's a student is now a variable name, okay, because it is assigned to this true. And then this true is a data type, okay? So we wanted to find out, we want Python to print for us the type of its student, the type of its student, okay? The type or the class in which this particular variable belongs to. And you shouldn't be surprised if to return a bool, okay? So the class is a Boolean, all right? So we did floats, okay? We did floats, we did string, and we did Boolean, okay? So let's combine them together. Let's do full example. Full example, all right? So I'll bring age is equal to 30. We didn't do age. We bring salary. We assign it to 2,500.75 randomly. Then country, that's a variable name. We assign it to Ghana. Don't forget all the tests. We have to put quotation around them. And we have completed. Okay, these are random variables. Completed equals to true. Okay, now if we print, let's do this. Let's print, let's call the variable age, okay? And that age, we want to bring the type of the age, okay? So here it will print the age for you. It will tell you 30 and then put the type at the side. That is what is going to happen. And here, let's print salary, okay? Salary and comma. We want to know the type of salary, okay? We want to know the type. Now let's print the next one. I think the next one is country. Country, comma. And then we want to know the type country, okay? And finally, let's print completed, comma, and we want to know the type of this variable called completed, yeah. So let's print it and see. Don't forget we are still doing data types, okay? For age, because it doesn't have any decimal, okay? That is an integer, okay? So the difference between integer and then float is that integer doesn't have decimals after the numbers, but float have decimals, okay? So just like salary is supposed to be, or salary will be float, age is integer, country, because it's quoted in a text, that is a string variable, and completed, whether an individual completed, that is yes or no, true or false, okay? This is a Boolean. So let's print all of them and see the class we'll get. So it's telling that 30 is an integer, as I'd mentioned, 2,575.75 is a float. And by now you should know why it's a float. Ghana is a string variable. And of course, you know that this is completed, or this, or true. Okay, true is a Boolean. All right. This will become very handy when you're working with data set where the data is not captured well. For example, you may have, let's say, integers being coded as floats. So you have to really identify this data type for you to be able to recast them to their original data format. Okay. All right. So now let's see if you can print. Let's see something. printing text and variables together. Let's see, how do we combine text and variables together? Okay. So now we have a name that we assigned Abena to. Okay. And then Abena's score is 90. Right. So we can print. Okay. Now, look at this. We'll type this student name, right? We bring a column. Then we call this name, all right? You put it here. So what we are saying that we have written this test, okay? Student name. Then we call the variable name, okay? What do you think what do you think it will produce? Okay, it will give you student name Abena. That's what will come. Then here, down here, let's do the same thing. Print. Okay, we have score. We want to know the score. To know the score. Score, right. Here. Score. And then we call this particular score. So when we print this should give us student name, and give you Abena. Score, it will give you the score assigned. So let's see. You see? So you have student name, Abena, and then the score is 90. So we have combined tests together with variables. Okay? We can include the variables in the test. This is what we have done. There's another way to do it. Okay, we call it F string methods. Okay? The F string method. Okay, and of course, this is the best way to do it, the best option. So this is what we're going to do. We have name, we assign Abena as usual. Then we have the score, the same 19 we want to assign. So now what we want to do is I will print, okay? And before you write anything at all, you put F in front. Then you open your quote. Then you can do student name, okay? Student name here. Student name, okay, within the string, okay? Within the string, that's what we call it F string. And then you open curly bracket, this one. Then you put the name inside. All right, you bring the F first, the F string, you bring the F, then you add your quotes, then student name. And once you open the bracket, this will be able to reference this name over here. All right, let's try the second one. So print. So bring our F, we bring our quotation. So you can say score, okay, space, you open here, close it, and then you bring your score. Okay, so this will reference the name and the score. Okay, the name and the score. So let's print it. So you see that you have student name, and this reference the name, and then we have the score, also reference the score. Okay, so this is the best way to do it instead of hard coding the variables into the test. There's another way to also do it. We call it a string concatenation. String concatenation. So we have string concatenation, right? So we have the name, as usual, we have Abena. Then we have print. You see, so bring student name, okay, here. Then you add the plus symbol and then bring name. What do you think will happen? This is a default test or hard-coded test, student name. Okay, then we add this name, which will produce Abena over here. So this gives you, it produces an output for you, student name Abena. Okay. So for the video not to be too long, I'm going to end it here and we'll continue. We'll continue from there. You continue from here.